In this video, we're going to be talking about parallel and perpendicular lines. So my first one, we're going to go ahead and graph it first. So y equals 2x plus 1 starts at 1 on my y-axis. It goes up 2 to the right 1 or down 2 to the left 1. If we kept it going, okay, because remember it's always 2 over 1 for that slope. My other one starts at negative 6 on my y-axis. And it goes up 2 to the right 1 as well. Okay, parallel lines should never intersect. They kind of run alongside each other. Okay, the reason is because they have the same slope. They have to have the same slope, so that number right there has to be the exact same. I don't care about the y-intercept at all. The slope has to be the same. Okay, write an equation of a line that goes through this point is parallel to this. I said they have to have the same slope. So right now the slope is 8, so my new equation, slope is 8. I like point slope equations, so I'm going to do y minus my y value equals my new slope, x minus my x value. Two negatives will make that a positive. If I wanted to get it into y equals mx plus b, I'd distribute that 8, and I would add 2. Okay, but they should have the exact same slope. All right, so we're checking to see if their slopes are the same, to see if they are parallel, because the slopes are what I care about. So this first one here, if I'm going from this point to this point, I rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I run 1, 2. That simplifies to 3. My next one, I rise 1, 2, 3, and I run 1, so 3 over 1 simplifies to 3. So they are parallel because their slopes are the same. Okay, write an equation of a line that goes through this point is parallel. So my slope is 2 this time. And this is my point. So y minus my y value equals my new slope, x minus my x value, and then 2 negatives will make a positive. Okay, my next one is the point 0, 0. It has to run parallel to the equation negative 1/3 x plus 2. So here's my slope again. Here's my point. So y minus my y value equals my new slope, x minus my x value. So if I wanted to figure out my y equals mx plus b, I'd go ahead and distribute this. I'd get negative 1/3 x plus 0. And then y minus 0 is just y. And I don't even need this. So the real equation, if I was trying to graph it, is y equals negative 1/3 x. Okay, that would be parallel and run through that point. Okay, my perpendicular equation, so if I do 2x plus 1, it starts at 1. It goes up 2 to the right 1. Or it could go down 2 to the left 1. Okay, my next equation, it starts at positive 3. It goes down 1 to the right 2, so positive 3 goes down 1 to the right 2 or up 1 to the left 2. Remember, it is a negative slope, so it should be a decreasing line. Okay, perpendicular lines always create right angles in here. All right, so to get those perfectly 90-degree angles, our slopes are opposite reciprocals of each other. So you're filling in opposite reciprocal. That's an E. Okay, so if my first one is 2, opposite of positive is going to be negative. The reciprocal of 2, right now it's 2 over 1, so the reciprocal means I flip it. You do a double flip. You flip the sign, you flip the fraction. Okay, so the other one has to be negative 1/2. So my next one, my original slope is 1/6. So I do the double flip. I flip the sign. It becomes negative. I flip the fraction. It is now 6 over 1, which is the same thing as negative 6. And now it has to run through this point. So y minus my y value equals my new slope, x minus my x value. And then 2 negatives make a positive. Okay, so we're going to check the slopes to see if they're opposite reciprocal. So if I do this one first, I go from this point to this point. I rise 1, 2, 3. I run 2. My other one here, if I'm going from this point to this point, I rise 1, 2, 3, 4, and I run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. Okay, those are not opposite reciprocals of each other because they are not reciprocals of each other. One's 4/5, the other one's 3/2. So no, they aren't perpendicular. They would not create perfect right angles there. All right, the equation of the line, so my slope right now is 2. So we need to do the double flip. We make it negative. Right now it's 2/1. To make it flipped again, we get 1/2. So I got y minus my y value from here equals my new slope, x minus my x value, and then two negatives make a positive. Okay, now we got the point 0, 0 in the equation y equals negative 1/3 x minus 1. So my slope right now is negative 1/3. We do the double flip. It becomes positive 1/3. When I flip my fraction, it becomes 3/1, which is just 3. And then we got this point. So y minus my y value, my new slope, x minus my x value. There's my equation. Okay, are these two lines parallel, perpendicular, or neither? For us to be able to do this, we always have to get the equations in y equals mx plus b so we can look at those slopes. So if I'm looking at the slopes, they are the same, so they are parallel. Opposite reciprocal would be perpendicular. Neither would be neither of those two. Okay, so you have to solve for y equals mx plus b and then check the slopes. Okay, for my next one, if I'm solving this for y equals mx plus b, I need to divide everything by -2. So I got y equals negative, if we want to keep that negative with the 2, plus 2 negatives make a positive 1/2. Okay, my other one, it looks like I have to add the 2x over to get y by itself. And remember, it goes y equals mx plus b. My x comes first. So what number sits in front of that x is actually a little 1. So my slope for that one is negative 1/2. My slope for this one is 2. Those are opposite reciprocals of each other, so this is going to be perpendicular. So you might have to solve for y equals mx plus b to see if they're perpendicular.